So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to obviously our Monday evening connection as we get together, and more people are coming. So please join us, take your seat. Um, Definitely throughout the talk, we're going to share a few points that are not coincidentally revealed in the weekly energy. We know that every week we have 52 weeks, and the Torah is organized in a way in a 52 different portions that each one of them meant to reveal secrets that are authentically related to the moment that you at. Even though it was revealed a few thousand years ago, and it's so authentic to our days today and obviously accurate to our day. And you can see every week throughout what's happening around in the world, not just what's happening in Israel. Um, and again, I want to make sure that some people are new, some people are first time hearing that. We want to explain from a Kabbalistic point of view, first of all, the physical world and the spiritual world. The physical world is a manifestation. The physical world, what you see today, Earth, or all the other planets, is a manifestation of a spiritual world. What we experiencing, it's manifestation of something that started or ignited from a spiritual place, like any other thing that you have in life. You know, if you take these glasses, before it was the glasses, it was an idea. It was in a spiritual world. It was an idea, a thought, right? Non-physical. And slowly, with a different process, you get a physical object. Same thing. So all what happened and still happening, it started from a spiritual place. If we, all of us, will be able to tap into that place, what we call the cause, the reason our world, and I call it our world because we're all responsible for this world, is going through what is going through and will go through more, is so each one of us will be able to ignite or to awaken levels within us that were dormant, were sleeping. We were, in a way, going through the motion in life. Therefore, something come and slap us very hard to wake up the entire world. It's not specifically just for one particular nation. Everybody needs to wake up. The important part is we don't need more this type of catastrophe to wake us up. We don't need that. So there's few things that are happening, and in these weeks, we'll understand. But first of all, to understand this concept that it's, again, we're going to speak about it in a longer conversation, not now, but the concept of the external and the internal. The internal, right, is what's happening inside of you, and the external is what's happening outside of you, right? All of us need to know that we are affected by what's happening or not happening outside of us. We all get affected by that. We all get, annoyed by things that happening in the world, or people saying, or stupidity, or evil of others. We get affected by that, meaning it's affecting our inner. And because of that, again, if it changes us inside to the good, to the better, so it seems like the external event that happened helped me change for the better. But if the external event that happened changed me for the bad, and I become way worse than I was before, so it seems like the outside events make me change for the worse, right? So you have to ask yourself, based on what is been happening in the last couple of weeks, what type of changes or what type of awakening or what type of influence you awaken as a result of what happened to the world, or what was revealed to the world in a very evil, negative way. What is a result of that happening? Some people get depressed, some people get inspired to do more. Some people get waking up and realize we need to protect this or protect that. Some people go, and go back to the PTSD of COVID, right? And start eating a lot and start closing themselves in rooms, and many things that happen. And it's awakened all of us. All of us get affected by that. So that is the big picture we have to remember, and to be aware that every external event meant to awaken us and drive us for a change, to transform and to awaken more parts of us that are sleeping. We are going through the motion, and that needs to be wake up. So in this week, it says that, that's the first week where Abraham, and it's not coincidental why we're speaking about Abraham. This is the first introduction that we have to Abraham. Everybody know Abraham, right? He is the father of all religion. He is the one that his father, where he born, he was an idol worshiper. He was the biggest sorcerer, very strong, very rich, very wealthy people, but really in the negative side, idol worshippers. Meaning back in that time, there wasn't anyone, everybody have their own God. Different gods, different things that they worship. Abraham is the first individual that woke up from a message that he got, and through the action that he took from the message that he got, he started to talk to the Creator, to what we call God or light or Creator. And through this conversation, right? And again, I'm going to speak more about it and show you where it says that. But that brought in the understanding that there is only one God. There's no gods. There's only one light. There's only one master to this world. There's only one creator to this world. There's no many, there's no two, there's no three, there's only one. The difficulty was that go convince anybody that worship many gods, different things. Worship the sun, worship the moon. They think this is their God. So he is the first one, this is the conversation, that gave birth to all religion. Now, of course, he didn't come up with religion. He was very spiritual and revealed the wisdom of Kabbalah. And we know it by his document. It's called the Book of Formation. And it's 1,700 words. It's actually codes. It's almost like a few pages. And it's all codes. It's like if I tell you MC square, you know what it is, right? I can give you a whole explanation about just 2 or 3 words, right? Every word there is an ocean of information that's written by Abraham. And then later on, there was concealed and revealed, what we call in the Zohar, some 2,000-3,000 years later. And this is where we have all this wisdom coming from. Let's go back to Abraham. What is the message that he got? And it starts this way. He says, Lech lecha me'artzecha. Go out. He says, Lech lecha. Now, seemingly, if you read the language, you realize it's written wrong, right? Why twice the same word? Why using the same word, right? Because it says, go out of your land. Lech michutz lech is using the word lech lecha. Go to yourself. If you literally translate this word, it makes no sense why it uses it. But if you study a little bit Kabbalah and you realize the message and why Abraham revealed what he revealed, is because that's what he did. Abraham started a movement of people who are stopped worshiping anything. Like, for example, most of us today worshiping other things. Like you idolize a certain famous people, you are worshiping your body, you worshiping your hair, you worshiping your, you know, all of us worshiping little thing, right? Our nails. Oh, I have to have it this way, I have to have it that way. Our house, our things. We worshiping. We are people who worship. So obviously, it's not a problem. But the only desire that you want to have is to know, why am I doing it? What am I worshiping? Because we are, in a way of like, that's a natural state, right? Worshiping our boss, worshiping our parents, and so forth, all of us. We look into worship something. That's actually the truth. Abraham started a movement to take everybody away from worshiping little things, many little things, and to be connected and to be awakened for one light to all, one consciousness to all. Again, each one of us think differently, each one of us being different, but we are connected to the same source, connected to the same light. That is one message that we all need to awaken first in the world. What Abraham started, the father of Islam, of Judaism, of all of that, he created it. It's clearly from this week's and the next couple of weeks, this is the birth of all of that. Yeah? And we know that this is how it started. But the way to start is to do what we call lech lecha. Go, they say, go for yourself. But Kabbalistically, we're asking ourselves, what do you mean go to yourself? To inside of me? Yes. But the message is a little bit deeper and stronger. If each one of us wants to reveal, wants to understand why and what you came here to do, if you don't do what we call lech lecha, it will never be revealed to you. What does it mean, lech lecha? Go outside of yourself. Go outside of yourself. In order for me to reveal why am I here, what am I doing, what the purpose of this, of anything, go outside of yourself. You need to start a movement, meaning outside of yourself in two levels. One in the physical. For example, a lot of us sometimes wants to see changes in our life, wants to attract other people to our life, but we staying in the same environment. So technically, you want to be different, but you don't plant yourself in different environment, different consciousness, like you hear. Some of you I see first time, some of you I see few times, right? Because I want to be part of this type of movement of people who are thinking a little bit higher, a little bit stronger, a little bit more responsibility. Changes and transformation that each one of us take upon ourselves help the world tremendously. But I cannot make changes if I'm not going outside of myself, which means, first of all, check if your environment is environment who support you being doing, crazy things. Doing, let's say, for example, like my friend Nuriel, we're hosting classes, Imagine you're going to start hosting hundreds and hundreds of people. Imagine, right? Every day or every week. Right? What everybody going to think about you? Why do you do that? Why do you need all this headache? Right? Some people will tell you the environment either supporting you to do those things, right? Or the environment doesn't support you to do these things. So I have to check spiritually, am I in the right environment who help or supporting me changing and transforming myself? Sometimes it's not, but we're afraid to lose my position, my holding on the group or the friends, but it doesn't support me. I need to move, get out of this environment and move, plan to a different environment. That's the first thing, also in the physical way. Sometimes, when somebody is in a toxic environment, they think they can change by, being strong or bringing light or whatever magic. No, you gotta get out of it. You got to get out of the environment. Then when you're healthy, or let's say, for example, someone deal with a certain addiction, you're not going to put them next to that, right? It's going to be very risky for them to fall back. So it has to be, if you want to go outside of yourself, it can work tremendously, but you get out of your environment. Check your environment first. That's the first indication you know you're not growing or you cannot grow. Second thing is obviously get out of the action or the habits that you used to do. What is the habits that you have that are constantly put you down? Is there a habit of waking up in the morning and lingering in bed for 2 hours with the Instagram? And then you wake up and then you are very slow to roll out of bed? We all have, I mean, I'm not saying that or something else, or, getting up late or coming late to a meeting, always late, right? It's a habit. So you have to check yourself another level. Am I in a habit? Do I have different habits that limits me, that always gets me in trouble? And the second and the third thing is change, meaning go outside of your nature. Let's say, for example, nature. Nature is your, what we call the behavior that you do automatically. An automatic behavior that we have in a natural way. So, for example, let's say, for example, someone is naturally the doormat. You know the doormat? The doormat, not the doormat. What is a doormat? I'm pleasing people. A person like that will do whatever it takes so people will like them. So he will be the doormat, he will backflip for everybody. That's the nature. He came to this world, she came to this world this way. What a person like that needs to do? Get out of it, meaning do completely the opposite. A person is aggressive, is in nature, right? Completely the opposite, so gentle. A person is all about me. Transform it. Get out of it. Make it about others. Any nature that you have. If you want to give an example after we have a discussion about it. But this is the first lech lecha that we need to do. Go outside of yourself and miracles will occur in your life. You're going to start seeing things that you could not see in a different way. So that is the first message that we receive from Abraham, that got him to realize what he needs to do in this world. Because when he heard the message, get out of yourself, get out of your circle. As soon as everybody was crazy, everybody got crazy because he was the wealthiest man. He left his father, the place, it was very known. Imagine the son of someone very, very important here in the world, left everything, gave away everything, and start walking in the desert. Where are you going? I'm going to Israel. I mean, imagine, ask yourself, even you living where you are and start walking, right? The backpack, right? And then, and then go traveling. What are you doing? In that time of age, how old was Abraham when he did it? 75. Imagine your parents, 75. Yeah, I'm going backpacking. I'm going to walk, and what are you gonna do? I'm gonna bring people closer to an understanding there's only one God. How does it sound to you in the age of 75 to do that? That's what he did. It was outrageous, but that is what happened. And again, interesting enough, 75, the age 75 is the age of Israel right now. And it's the beginning of the process of Abraham. There's a beautiful message there. Again, why it's happened around that year. This is the beginning of the process when Abraham, after 75 years, was ready to really awaken levels of his soul that could not be awakened before that, right? Another clue, another message that it's not a coincidence, obviously. The word, the number 75 is the same numerical value as the word bitachon, trust, bitachon, but also security. So these two things, just like, again, by itself, we're going to get into that in a second, but this is what's happening right now in Israel. Everybody's afraid. Everybody doesn't have any feeling of security, bless you. The feeling of security was completely removed from the people who are sitting there. No more security. And what do they need to do? To get to the level that they trust that their unity, that they are getting outside of themselves to connect to the other, that will be their security shield. That will be the protection shield, what we call chomat esh saviv, creating a firewall around them. So obviously not a mistake or coincidence, but it's time for all of us, like we learn from Abraham. In 75 years old, he says, you know what, I'm done with the darkness, I'm going towards the light. All of us today, we want to get out of our darkness. What is it? Idol worshiping, or worshiping things that are very, very small and insignificant, things that are physical. Any physical thing that we worship and we're making it more important than the spirit, our soul, eventually will be the one thing that makes us disconnect. So we want to remove it before it disconnects us. And we want to awaken a worshiping or awakening a work towards unity, towards bringing us together, towards unconditional people, towards love between people, which is very hard product right now to find. It's very hard because you see what's happening in the external, the amount of hatred that grows, it doesn't matter which direction, it's still hatred. It doesn't help the situation. There's not enough people who take in responsibility, doing the work of lech lecha, going outside of yourself, and not enough of us become unconditional people. So this is another indication that we all can really make a difference here. A beautiful information that is important, right, is also maybe it's a different conversation. We're going to speak about it after in a discussion. But it says that Abraham and Sarah, they used to travel, did lech lecha, they moved from one town to another and start bringing people closer to the light. Start engaging with people and telling them about the small way of thinking about idols, and a larger way of thinking in a global, in a united way, unified way. That type of conversation brought people closer. And then they says, "Et hanefesh asher asu becharan," the people that they brought closer to the light, and they did a lot of that. Interesting enough, you hear in Kabbalah, says, who are those people? Because they spoke about many people that they brought closer to the light, and you never hear about anyone who stayed, anyone that was, became like another teacher or became another important person. Nobody know who are those people, and there were many people. And the key that the Kabbalah speaks about here, he says, we can have so many people bring us closer to the light, but we will never stay unless we do the work. So Abraham and Sarah can bring people closer. Like how you say, the horse, you can bring him closer to the water, right? But he needs to drink. So even now, let's say, for example, we open the house, or we did Shabbat together, and we're doing these classes, we bring people closer. Each one of us need to grab this opportunity. Even if you get a notice, oh, there's a class tonight. Yes, they give me opportunity to get closer to people of light, to consciousness. But I have to hold on that. It's our job to stay connected. It's not I can every day calling you. It's still not going to connect you. I can call people, hey, how you doing? Do this, do that. But if a person is not awakened for himself and plug in for himself, it's not going to stay. That's the sad part. So obviously in this time, it's very, very much almost so easy to wake up and do things and want to be part. It's when the threat is not there. It's like if you go back 3 or 4 weeks ago, if I tell you, by the way, in the world, a catastrophe is coming, you need to connect strongly. Tell your family, tell everybody to plug in. What would you tell me? Exactly, that's what you're going to tell me. Oh, I heard about it. Right? You're going to yawn. You're going to say, oh, yeah. Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. That's what people will answer. That's what people did answer. But we don't need more than that. We absolutely, but if we do need, God forbid, it can happen around the world to people to wake up and to hold on strongly, like we saying here. So obviously, when Abraham tell us, listen, I brought so many people closer to that understanding, to consciousness, but it was on them, it's their responsibility to stay connected, to do the work, and to bring others closer. It's not just, okay, my teacher brought me closer to this wisdom. Amazing. But if I'm not going to do it for others, I cannot connect. It's the connection doesn't stay. And then, I'll share with you, you share with others. This is what makes us cohesive. That's what makes us connected, even if we are not even talking every day. But the connection is flow. So obviously it's important, if you connected to that, please make sure you bring other people closer. One more last thing that is important to remember is that he says there was a story about the two people. They're walking in the forest, and as they walk in the forest, they sit around. One got drunk and one was sober. And they walk in the desert, one so drunk, all of a sudden, a bunch of people came and robbed them. In a certain area of the forest, they beat them up. They go back to the town, and obviously they see people there. So the sober one tell everybody, by the way, around the corner in the forest, next to the hill over there's a shack. Please, everybody, don't get closer. There's people who are dangerous people sitting there and want to attack and steal and rob you. And they're looking at the drunk guy. He says, I don't know. I don't see anything. He only see that he's bruised, but he doesn't know. He didn't know, meaning he didn't know how to warn people. Most of us have that type of reality. We're going through something. We're going through bruises. We're going through difficult times, but we never really go and warn people from what and how did it happen to us. So please don't do it. So we have to make sure to warn others, to go to town, to go to people. Whatever you have, share it with others. Every experience that we have, share it with others. Every pain you went through, share it with others. You're warning them, you're showing them how to protect themselves from what we said, those people in the forest. So obviously, again, there's many, many lessons, but I want to make sure that we have few points. And please, I would like to hear from all of us sharing together. There's many other points, but let's start, first of all, with these lessons and this direction, okay? So, thank you.